You're sitting on the couch with the book in your hands, and you can already feel that something is wrong. You haven't started reading yet. You're just holding it. The cover is good, the weight is right. You bought this in March because someone you trust said you'd love it. And for 8 months, it has been sitting on the coffee table where you could see it every time you walked through the room. Tonight, you decided, was the night. You made tea. You put your phone in the kitchen on purpose. You sat down. The book is in your hands, and you already know. You don't know what you know exactly. You just have a small feeling in your chest. The kind that arrives slightly before bad news. The kind that's already moving when you pick up the phone and see who's calling. Your body has clocked something. The information hasn't reached the rest of you yet. You open to chapter 1. You read the first paragraph. You don't catch it. Some word, some image, you can't say what, it just doesn't arrive. So you read it again. This time you go slower, the way you'd read a sign you'd already misread once. And in the middle of the second read, your hand moves. Not you, your hand. It moves toward the right side of the couch, into the gap between the cushion and the armrest, the place the phone usually sits without you ever putting it there. Your hand goes the way a hand goes somewhere it's gone 1,000 times, and it finds nothing. It hovers there, over the empty space. It doesn't come back right away. You watch this happen from a small distance inside yourself. Your hand suspended in the air over the place where the phone should be, and the rest of you sitting on the couch holding a book. You bring your hand back. You find the paragraph. You start again. Your eyes move across the line. You can feel them moving, the small physical fact of it. The words are registering. If someone walked in right now and asked you to read this paragraph aloud, you could. The machinery works. Nothing is sticking. You finish the paragraph and you don't know what you just read. There was no distraction. Nobody said anything. No notification went off. There's just you, the book, the lamp, the tea, and a paragraph that arrived on the page and didn't make it any further. You go back to the top. You try once more. You try holding the sentence in your mouth as your eyes read it. You reach the period. It's gone. This is the part you didn't expect. You'd expected to be distracted, and you'd planned for that. Phone in the kitchen. No music, no television, no one else home. You hadn't planned for this. The page is right in front of you. Your eyes work. Your mind isn't anywhere else. There's just nothing happening between the page and you. There used to be something. You remember it. Reading used to put you somewhere. Behind the words there was a room, and you walked into it without thinking about the door. You were inside, the way you can be inside a real conversation, where the rest of the world quietly stops mattering for a while. You're not inside anything right now. You're standing at the surface of a page, reading the words, and the room behind them is locked. You shift on the couch. Your weight settles into the cushion differently. Your hip finds a new angle. And your hand, again, before you've decided anything, lifts from your lap. This time it moves toward your pocket. You're wearing jeans you haven't worn since last weekend, and the phone usually rides in the right front pocket when you go anywhere. Your fingers find the seam. The pocket is empty. You feel the flat denim against your fingertips, and your hand stays there a second longer than it should, registering the absence before it remembers and comes back. You didn't decide to reach. That's the thing you don't have a word for. There was no thought first. No little itch you chose to scratch. The arm just went. The way your foot finds the brake before you've finished seeing the car ahead stop. The way your tongue keeps going back to the sore spot in your mouth without being asked. Your body went looking for something. You put your hand back in your lap. You read the sentence again. You make it to page 7. 7 pages. That's not nothing. There's a small thing building in your chest, not quite pride, but next to it, the careful satisfaction of someone keeping a promise they made to themselves. And then your pocket vibrates. You feel it clearly, the frequency of it, the small downward pressure against your thigh, the way your whole hip registers the signal before your brain is caught up. Your hand is already moving toward your jeans before the thought arrives. Your fingers find the pocket. They find nothing. The pocket has been flat and still this whole time, because the phone is in the kitchen on the counter where you put it deliberately 40 minutes ago. You sit there, half-shifted in your seat, with your hand inside an empty pocket. Your body invented a notification because it had been too long without one. You don't move for a moment. You're not thinking about anything in particular. You're just aware, quietly, of what your body just did. It didn't wait for the phone. It didn't reach for the phone. It made the phone. It generated the signal from inside itself, like a hunger pang, like a phantom limb, because the gap between notifications had stretched past whatever your nervous system now considers normal. You set the book face down on your knee. The room is exactly as quiet as it was before. The lamp, the cold rim of the mug, the book against your leg with its spine bent back. Nothing has changed. You sit with the small, undramatic, slightly sick fact of what just happened, and you don't try to do anything about it. There was a woman 3 years ago. Same body, different apartment, the one with the couch that faced the window. A Saturday morning in early autumn. She started a book on a Friday night and finished it Sunday before coffee, before anything, in the light that comes through east-facing glass when the year is turning cold. She was inside the sentences, not reading them the way you read a caption or a work email or the fine print on something you've already decided to sign. Inside them. The way a room can close around you when the temperature is right and you forget you have a body. She read for 6 hours and never checked the time, not as discipline. The thought just didn't arrive. There was nothing she wanted that wasn't more of what she already had. She finished the book and set it on the cushion beside her, and then she sat, not reaching for anything, not filling the space, just sitting there in the white autumn light, the slow, private fullness of someone whose mind has been somewhere else for 3 days and is only now coming home. She had a phone. That's the part. She had one. It was on the kitchen counter, or in her bag, or on the windowsill somewhere, anywhere that wasn't her hand. She picked it up and put it down the way you pick up and put down a pen. It hadn't yet learned to live in her body. You can feel the phone right now, even though it's in the next room. You know exactly where it is. You can feel the absence the way you'd feel a missing tooth with your tongue, the gap where it should be, the small wrongness of the space. You're sitting on a couch on a Saturday and you can't get inside a sentence to save your life. She could. Same body, different year,
And the difference is something you don't have a clean name for. She had a phone. You have a phone. That's the part that sits in the room with you and doesn't explain itself.
You get back to the book. You make it to page 12, then 15. Something changes, not easier, less resistant. The words start arriving in some kind of order. For a few minutes, the book is just a book and you're just a person reading it, and that's enough. Then the radiator clicks. This radiator has been clicking since October. You've never once noticed it. Tonight it arrives in the room like a knock at the door. A single small metallic sound in the quiet, and your body turns toward it the way it would turn toward a voice. A car passes outside. After the car, the quiet returns, and it has more weight than it did before. You can feel its shape. You can hear your own breathing now, not loud, just there. Audible in a way breathing isn't supposed to be when you're sitting alone in a room with a book. You're aware of all of it. The radiator, the car, your breath, the light from the lamp on page 15. The way the silence between sounds is itself a kind of sound. This is not peaceful. You've read descriptions of moments like this. The retreat in the mountains. The person who goes somewhere without Wi-Fi and comes back saying they heard birdsong again, like it was a gift, like the quiet had opened something. That isn't what this is. The quiet hasn't opened anything. The quiet is sitting on the couch next to you, breathing too loudly through its nose, and you'd like it to leave, but you don't know how to ask. The silence has texture. It has weight. Your body doesn't know how to be inside it without something happening, and the something never comes. That's the part. Not the failure to read. Not the wandering mind. The ordinary, always there quiet of a Saturday night apartment has become something your body has to endure. Endure. Like weather. Like a long wait. Like the few seconds before a page loads. The radiator clicks again. You hear it. Here is what you've been circling all night. That woman 3 years ago wasn't more disciplined than you are. She wasn't more intelligent. She didn't have better habits. She didn't have some quality you've since lost track of. What she had was a room inside herself with enough air in it. That wasn't a virtue. She didn't earn it. It was just a condition, the way good sleep is a condition. You don't notice you have it until it's gone. She could be inside a sentence because the sentence had somewhere to land in her. The room of her was quiet enough, not silent. She had a phone, the same kind of phone, and it went off and she checked it and then she came back. The checking didn't cost her the room. There was still room. There isn't room now. Not because you're weaker, because the room has been filled with something else. A body that runs on a different frequency now. A body that generates its own signals when the signals stop coming. You can put the phone in another room for an evening, for a week, for a month. You've tried it. You know what happens. The room doesn't refill. The itch doesn't quiet. The body you bring into the silence is not the body that used to live there. It took years for the room to fill. The queue at the pharmacy, the 30 seconds before sleep, the ad break, the wait at the light, the moment between getting in the car and starting the engine. Each one a small reach, a small input, a small training. You didn't notice it happening. There wasn't a single moment you could go back to and point at. It just happened, the way most important things happen. So you're sitting here with the book and the cold tea and the radiator and the question you've been carrying. Why can't I just read the way I used to? Has an answer. It isn't a comforting one. You're not a worse version of her. You're someone else. And someone else still has to figure out what to do with the next hour. The book is in your hands, page 23. The tea is cold. The lamp is on. You set the book on the cushion beside you. You don't bookmark it. You already know you won't pick it up tomorrow. You don't pick up the phone either. You just sit there. The radiator clicks. You don't turn toward it this time. Your hand is in your lap. It isn't reaching anywhere. For this minute, this 1 minute, it's just where it is.